Hello everybody, I am Tom, and you are watching me play Warframe. Today we're going to go over my Wisp build. Wisp is showing off there. This here, by the way, is the 10th-gen helmet, because I'm sure I'll get questions about it. If you're on console, I don't think it's released yet. It's in the latest round of 10th-gen on PC, I'm pretty sure that it came out. But it was absolutely fantastic, and I had some spare money in my Steam wallet, so I just bought that shit, because, god, that looks cool. But anyway, as we always do, first things first, we'll go over our abilities. Her passive. This is an insanely good passive. Flowing between dimensions, Wisp becomes invisible to enemies while in the air. That's outstanding. Essentially, you're in the air, you're invisible. It's like, what? Compared to some of the other passives, this is stellar, A+, amazing passive. Also, she's thick, look at that. Okay, so her first ability is actually quite a few different abilities. She throws down reservoirs, and essentially these are just buffs. The actual reservoir itself will stay in one spot, but your allies or you can run through that spot and actually pick up all of the buffs. But there's multiple buffs. There is a vitality mote that gives you max health increased by a fairly significant margin, and gets your health regen up significantly. You have a haste mote, which increases your speed and your fire rate. And you have a shock mote, which is 100% chance to do electric status procs to enemies around you. So it gives you like sort of a stun on enemies as you're running through the level. It's also really, really good. So essentially you want to have all of these up pretty much at all times. The exception being maybe you don't want the shock mote when you're doing a spy vault. That's pretty much the only exception I would say. Because it can set off alarms if it shocks the wrong thing when you're trying to do a spy vault. But aside from that, and maybe rescue as well, but aside from that, you pretty much want all of these up at all times. And if you're on a team with Wisp, find where they put those motes and get them, because they're fantastic. The second ability, Will-O-Wisp. You create like a copy of yourself that will fly forward and distract enemies. If you hit the button again, you will teleport to wherever it lands. Or wherever it is when you teleport. Not where it lands. Next, we have Breach Surge. You open a dimensional breach to overwhelm nearby enemies and cause them to release aggressive surge sparks when damaged. Wisp may also target a reservoir to teleport to it and double the range of surge. I don't use this that often, unfortunately. It is pretty amazing. It gives a 35-second blind duration on my build, and it gives you a 4.3 times damage multiplier, which is insane. Also increases the status chance, which is nice as well. But the actual, like, teleporting nature of it, I don't really use. But I guess you can pretty easily. Essentially, if you have a reservoir put down, you can teleport to it if you're inside the breach surge. So, that's a thing. And then our final ability is Soul Gate. It's a Kamehameha wave. As you can see in that picture right there. Open a portal to the sun to irradiate nearby enemies with a devastating beam of pure solar plasma. Hold fire to double damage at the cost of increased energy consumption. For the duration of an attack, enemies damaged by Soul Gate are increasingly more vulnerable to it. So essentially, the longer you do damage to them, the more damage they take. And as you can see there, it does fire and radiation damage at 3,285 apiece, which is insane. So she's very, very good. Now, I want some input from you guys. Whoops. I thought that looked a bit weird. I want some input from you guys. I'm unsure which of these two builds I actually prefer. I'm leaning more towards this one. This one has slightly lower power strength, but it has more range. That's the only difference between the two of them. I'm leaning towards this one here, which is 200% power strength, as opposed to this one, which is 219% power strength, but you have slightly lower range. I think the range is probably pretty good for Breach Surge and Soul Gate, but for the other two, it's not as good. So I don't know. You guys let me know whether or not you reckon that extra damage is worth it, or whether or not you should keep that one. In any case, I'm going to go over this one. This is one I'm going to do today. But we have Corrosive Projection, enemy armor. It sucks. Get rid of it. Power Drift for ability strength. Transient Fortitude for ability strength at the cost of some duration. Prime Flow for a bunch of energy. Prime Continuity for a bunch of ability duration. Narrow-Minded for even more duration at the cost of some range. Intensify for ability strength. Augur Message for ability duration. Augur Reach for ability range. And Stretch for ability range. It's worth noting I could do more Former in here and actually increase my strength to 210 power fairly easily, but So that's pretty much the build, and that gives her basically 100% range, a bunch of duration, and a bunch of strength. Efficiency you don't really need with Prime Flow because she has a lot of energy. As you can see, 750 with Prime Flow at rank 8. My second build differs slightly. I have Cunning Drift instead of Power Drift. So we're getting ability range there rather than ability power. And secondly, we have Umbral Intensify because it can fit. And we have Augur Message for... Augur Message so that we get more duration instead of the range. So, I don't really know which is better. I'm going with this one currently. It seems to be working fairly well. That's definitely something. As far as arcanes, I've just got Arcane Aegis, Arcane Grace. Whatever there, to be perfectly honest. But let's go over what she does. You see there, 750 energy, pretty ridiculous. Her motes, you can see on the bottom right, there's 3 of them there. You push and hold to cycle through them. So that's the Shock Reservoir, that's the Vitality Reservoir, and that's the Haste Reservoir. If you just tap them, you'll throw one down. And within this area, you'll get the buff. As you can see on the top right, I have it for an infinite amount of time because I'm standing in there. As soon as I leave, the countdown will start. But, let's throw down the other one. And let's throw down the third one. So now I have all 3 buffs. I now have 900 health, 285 shields, which is irrelevant. I move a lot faster, as you can see here. My speed, pretty damn fast for a character that isn't a speed character. Also, fire rate is up, which doesn't really illustrate very well there. Faster fire rate and faster reload, so that's both nice, I suppose. And if there are enemies around, we will shock them. And you can see these little motes floating around us. It is also worth noting that her 4 gets more powerful the more motes you have. So you want all 3 motes up. So you can use the power button, it'll do more damage. You can see there, I'm not, even at like base efficiency, like I still have plenty of energy. You can just do this all day long. Also, I love that effect when you finish using it, she gets like pushed backwards, that's really cool. Her 2, shoot off a dude that way. And if I hit 2 again, I'll teleport to him. And then her 3 is Breach Surge. So that happens, and enemies get caught in them. And I can teleport. That's pretty much it. So that's all her abilities, and I can show you how well they go together. Particularly with the fact, level 145, that's all good, simulate. Particularly with the fact, look, I jump into the air, I'm invisible. They can't see me. Also, there's a little cooldown effect, so if you run around bunny hopping like this, they can just never see you. Now granted, if you shoot, they will see you, but not for very long. It's kind of ridiculous. Also, my health regen is currently enormous, so I'll just take some damage. Jump around a bit. Look how much health I am regenerating right now. I'm going to be back up to full very, very shortly. Oh, I got knocked down. I could die. No, they're all stunned. You see there, those electricity things stunning me? Oh, those electricity things stunning the enemies. Also, I can do this. Oh. Well, that's interesting. I died and was continually shooting it. I didn't know you could do that. So you do have to pay attention to your health when you're this high of a level. It's worth noting. Also, her dodge is like a dash forward, similar to Limbo's, which is cool. You don't lose height, you can just stay in the air. But this is her in a nutshell. When you want to go invisible, just jump. That's all you have to do, you're invisible. Which is OP as hell, to be fair. You can stun a bunch of enemies, do a bunch of spin attacks. Shoot him with a Daggerus, or a Catch Moon, both work. I got hit with a rocket, but it's fine, I can just jump into the air and they can't see me. Which means they won't shoot rockets at me. Seems that rockets still track you, interestingly. See, he hits me with a rocket, but I can just do this. And he can't see me. It's great. She's arguably OP. Also, if I do that, that will distract him. And because we can. Against one enemy. Oh wow, I died. Ordinarily you just get fire proc so often that if you're against one enemy you usually don't die, but I did there, so I guess you need to be slightly careful. Oh yeah, he's dead. So that's Wisp. She's incredibly fun, and it's a shame I didn't play her much until I decided to do the video, because god damn is she fun. Also, I kind of showed it off before, but as you can see, if I look at the moat, we get that icon. If we hit 3, if we hit 3 while we're looking there, we just teleport up here. Which, I mean, is cool, I guess, but I don't know how often you're going to be using that. I guess you can do some teleporting around. Or if you want to rebuff, I guess it's good. Because that'll automatically rebuff you, obviously. But, yeah, that's Wisp. She's fantastic. Anyway, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye, guys. Also, let me know which of these builds you like better. Or if there's another build entirely that's way better than what I'm doing. Let me know about that as well, obviously. As always, you should. But this here, I'm literally like, I'm tossing up between them, and I could easily go one way or the other. Because I don't think you need the range that often. But, having said that, it's nice to have, so I'm not sure if 20% power strength is worth it. Anyway, that's gonna be it. Thanks, guys.